Respected ma'am, myself Vinitha S from 2nd BCA. Here I am going to present a topic in Python about list, tuple and dictionary. Here we go. List, tuple and dictionary. First of all, we are going to discuss about list. The sequence of various data types that was storing in a list, and a list is an mutable object and it is a collection of different kinds of values or an items, and it is a mutable object and it can change their elements after it is forming. Once it forms, once again we can change that elements, and the list was separated by commas and they were enclosing the list items by a square brackets, and the Python data types are hold sequence, and the list is a common and it is in a reliable form, and it is used to store a collection of data. And here is an example of a list, and in this program we have two lists, list 1 and list 2, with a mixture of different data types. The code will print the content of a list 1 and list 2 and then print their respective types. And list 1 contains a combination of integer strings and floating points numbers, while in list 2 it is contain a strings. And the output is, first we are printing the list 1 and the output is shown in square brackets 1 comma 2, and in single quotes Python comma in single quote program comma floating point was 15.8, and we are printing the list 2 in square brackets inside a single colon Amy comma single colon Ryan comma Henry and Emma, and we are printing the type of a list 1 and list 2, and that output were showing the type of a lists were in class. And we know that the list that are ordered collection of items, and it is enclosing in a square brackets, and there are some key characteristics and operations related to the list, and that were ordered, a list were ordered, mutable and heterogeneous, and the common operations were that can access the elements and that can remove the elements, that can check for existence, and that can measure the length. And we know what you mean by accessing element. We can access the elements, and adding elements sense we can add the elements, and removing elements sense we can remove the elements, and checking for existence sense if we check if an item exists in a list or not, and the length means we can find the length of list using the length functions. And the list is also the list is ordered, which means a list maintains the order of elements, which means they are indexed and it can be accessed by their positions. And list is also immutable. Lists are mutable, meanings that it can change their content by adding, removing or modifying the elements. And list is also a heterogeneous. It can store a mixture of data types, including integer strings, floats or other lists. Next we talk about tuple. A tuple is an immutable object, and it is a collection of ordered elements that were enclosing in a parenthesis, but in a list we are enclosing it by a square brackets, but in a tuple we are enclosing it by a parenthesis. And a tuple that cannot be modified once is created, but in list it can be modified, and a tuple contain a different types of data types, and it were allowing the duplicate items also in a tuple. Here is an example of a tuple. My tuple is equal to, in parenthesis we are giving 1 comma 2 comma, and in double quotes we are giving hello comma, and a floating point 3.14, and that is an example of a tuple. And we can access the element in the tuple using indexing. By indexing we can access the position of an elements, and we can also perform various operations on the tuples. The various operations were slicing, concatenations and repetitions. And we also know that tuples are immutable, which cannot be modified once it's created, and it cannot be add, remove or change. And here is an example for a tuple with the various operations. My tuple is equal to, in parenthesis we are giving 1, 2, 3, and in double quotes we are giving hello, and the floating point is 3.14. First we are accessing elements. For that we are giving print of my tuple of index 0. For accessing the element, for access the element 0, in the tuple 0 what is the element is contained, which means the index of 0 is equal to 1. So the element contained in index 0 is equal to 1, so the output is 1. And we are slicing the elements. Slicing the element sense we are checking the elements from where to where, which means we were slicing. For slicing that we are giving print of my tuple. Inside this we are slicing from 1 to 4. So the output is 2 comma 3 and in double quotes hello, because the index of 1 is 1, the element is present is 2, and from 1 to 4 the elements are integers and the string also is there. So the output is 2 comma 3 comma in double quotes hello. And we were concatenating. Concatenating sense, we are adding the two elements, which means new tuple. We are giving a new element to a existing element, which means new tuple is equal to my tuple plus in parenthesis we are giving 42 integer and a string also, and we are printing a new tuple. In new tuple the output will be shown as with an old tuple the new tuple, which means 42, and the world also will be concatenate. So the output will be 1 2 3 hello 3.14 and 42 also a world also it will be concatenate. And we are measuring the length of a tuple. So the length is equal to length of my tuple, and we are printing the length. So the length of an element is equal to 5. Next we are counting the occurrence of an element, which means we are checking if a number or if an element is present once or more than once. So for that we are count is equal to my tuple dot count of 3, which means we are counting how much times the 3 is present in a tuple. So count is equal to my tuple dot count of 3. So print of count, we are printing print of count. So the output will be 1 because 3 appears once in a tuple. Next we are finding the index of an element. For in a single element the index, which index is present in that. So we are giving index is equal to my tuple dot index of hello. We are checking the hello index, the index of hello. So print index, then we will get the output as 3 because index of hello in a tuple is 3. Next we are going to discuss about dictionary. We know that dictionary is a mutable object which can modify, removing or adding an elements, but in tuple we can't do that because tuple is an immutable object. And in a Python, a dictionary is a built-in data type that we are using to store different type of data in key value pairs. In dictionary we are storing the data in key value pairs, and the each key were unique and it is associated with its corresponding values, which means the we can modify that, or we can add, or we can remove the key values pair. Here is a basic example of dictionary in a Python. My dict is equal to in curly bracket. In dictionary we are using curly bracket. Name is equal to John and age is 30 and city is equal to New York. In these examples, name, age and city are keys, and the John, 30, New York were their respective values, and we can access the values in this dictionary. We can access the values by referencing the keys. Also we can access the keys by referring its values. And here is an example of a dictionary. See that my dict is equal to name John, age 30 and city New York, and we are printing the name, my dict of name and age, also city. Next we are my dict of age, we are giving another age 31, and we are giving a country, my dict of country is equal to USA. Then we are deleting the city. Then we are giving if country in my dict, print country, my dict of country. In this program we demonstrate the manipulation of Python dictionary of mydict, and there are several steps by explanation of each part of the codes. A dictionary mydict is created with 3 key value pairs, which means names, age and cities. The code print out the values associated with the keys name, age and city using print statements. And the age key in a dictionary is updated from 30 to 31 using the assignment statement mydict of age is equal to 31. And a new key value pair country USA is added to a dictionary using mydict of country is equal to USA. Next, the key city and its associated values are removed from the dictionary using the delete statement del mydict of city. We are deleting it. And the code checking if the key country is present in a dictionary using an if statement. If it exists, it will print the value associated with the country using print functions. And as a summary, the code will demonstrate how to create, modify and how to delete key value pairs in a dictionary, as well as we know to check how to check for the existence of a key in a dictionary. And here is the output. Name is equal to John, age is equal to 30, city is equal to New York, and we are modifying age from 30 to 31 and age is equal to 31. Country USA, once again country USA. And thank you.